I'm Lily Dinling. I'm 33 years old, and I'm a wine specialist. Because of my job, I really enjoy wine tasting. There's a wine club that I'm a part of. I enjoy hiking and especially love traveling. I have a lot of friends who are interested in the outdoors. They mentioned that the west coast of Canada is a wonderful area to visit. The area I would be staying in is called North Vancouver Island. This is an area known for its wildlife, its native culture, and its rugged wilderness. The first town I visited was Port Hardy. The sign you see as you enter the town says, fishing, mining, logging. Clearly, these are the most important parts of life for the area. I was invited to go on a boat with Lloyd and Debbie. Hi, are you Debbie?
Yes, hi Lily.
Nice to meet you.
This is Lloyd, he's captain of the boat.
Oh, hi, pleasure to meet you.
Are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Get with it.
Okay.
Come on aboard. So right now...
They wanted to show me a number of islands where native culture and wildlife are abundant.
And Malcolm Island across back.
The scenery was just truly beautiful. The colors of the water, the beautiful green of the forest, and the wildlife we saw was wonderful. We came upon Village Island. It is actually a site of an abandoned native community. I met with Butch and his son Jace. Butch knew the history of the island.
This is where my ancestors helped bring me up.
Butch, can you tell me a little bit about the island?
Well, let's see, this island here is one of the, this was one of the islands that had a bigger family living on it. As you can tell by the amount of houses.
And they shared these homes, is that correct?
Oh yeah, you'd have a family of about 12 living in this.
Family of 12?
Yeah, living in
but
this.
one family?
One family.
And why did they leave?
Well, basically for health reasons, education. It was a thriving community, but a little piece of it was taken away when they took away the potlatch, when they took away all the artifacts, when they took away everything that they had.
So what is a potlatch?
Potlatch basically is just a feast, a party to gain stature. This is the last place of the potlatch.
The ceremony of the potlatch was taken away by the Canadian government in order to force the native people to abandon their ancestral ways. Many aspects of their lives have been disrupted by people who didn't understand their way of life.
So are you concerned at all with the fact that since people are moving away and going to the cities that some of the old ways would be lost, things to pass down to your son?
I'm still learning. I still have to learn what my background was like. In order for me to learn my background, or in order for me to teach him my background, I've got to know it myself. Just like that.
Does it? He also showed me the school and store, which were actually one building.
And your basic administrative building up top.
Looks kind of in need of repair.
It's been out of business for a few years.
Even though Village Island was deserted, I sensed the spirit of the people was still alive. Even the potlatch, which had been outlawed, was once again being practiced.
Debbie took me kayaking. I'd been kayaking before, but it's been a while and her tips were greatly appreciated.
And what kind of wildlife would we see out here?
Well, we could see whales out here. We've had humpbacks, gray whales, minke whales, and the occasional orca in here. Oh, there's the kingfisher.
She pointed out some wonderful wildlife.
You see him?
especially a bald eagle.
That little rock island with the eagle.
Oh, I see him now.
Look at how big he is.
Oh my God, he's huge. He's wonderful. So how long have you been in this area?
I actually grew up here. My dad was a mechanic in one of the logging camps.
So is the rest of your family still in the area?
No, they've moved on. They're living in the cities now.
But something's keeping you here.
Yeah, it's nice. Snow lineups, snow traffic out here.
True.
I love the feeling of being out there, close to the water, close to the land. It's just a soothing and calming experience. We came across a sea lion rookery where the sea lions like to lay around and sun themselves. Lying on the rock, there were huge male sea lions who were not at all happy with being disturbed by us and started barking, and then eventually jumped into the water to get away from us. We also saw some dolphins in the distance that were playing jumping and twirling in the air, and we really wanted to play with them. And in fact, they did come and follow the boat and actually played with us. Because one of the main industries of North Vancouver Island is forestry, I decided to go visit a logging operation. Kevin, this is a huge operation. What's going on here?
This is Weyerhaeuser Port McNeill Timberland's dryland sort operation. All the wood comes in from the bush and gets dumped on our deck here, and we process it. We have some crews on the deck. As you can see, they're going through the logs and scaling them and grading them and deciding where that wood's going to go, what's its best end use.
I was a bit surprised when I saw some women working with the logs, so I decided that I'd like to go speak with them.
Are there a lot of women working here?
At this dry land, there are 3 employees who work for Weyerhaeuser.
What about in the rest of the forestry industry? Are there women lumberjacks, for example?
Lumberjacks, that's a very old term. Anyways, yeah, there's women around running loaders and driving trucks and that. There's not that many of them. Some of the other divisions have got a lot of ladies running front-end loaders and stackers. Yeah. So, I mean, there are women out there.
If lumberjack isn't the correct term, what's the correct term?
Logger.
Logger. Okay, that's good to know.
Yes.
Well, Lily, all the logs that we looked at up at the dryland sort eventually end up down here. We have 3 guys working down here in what we call the booming grounds. As the pocket fills up, they'll close it off. We call it a boom. A tug will come in here once the tow reaches a certain size and take the whole thing away and down to our mills.
Then these tiny little boom boats that look like toy boats pushed the logs into place. Basically, every boy's dream job. Not my kind of thing, but I decided to give it a shot. So what are you doing here?
Right now, we're gonna load that stick pocket there so the guy can drill some sticks.
So basically, we're pushing logs.
Yeah, logs come down from the dry land, get dumped in different sorts.
How long have you been doing this?
About 10 years.
Years.
Yeah.
Were you in a different part of the logging?
Yeah, I used to work out in the bush. Yeah, logging outside. Yeah. That's about for the last, I don't know, 20-something years. Like I started when I was 16.
Oh, wow. If I was following Port Hardy's sign, I had seen logging. Now it was time to see fishing. So I went to see a fish hatchery. Hi, Ken.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Lily.
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for taking the time to see me.
No problem at all.
So, what are you going to show me today?
Today we've got an exciting day, actually.
I met with Ken, who explained the process of raising new fish from eggs. Because we have overfished our waters, the fish have to be replenished.
Lands and Parks program called the Keel Living Gene Bank program. We have an off-site O'Connor Lake net pen rearing system that we've got 25,000 smolts for release, and the ministry truck's out there now. We'll show you some of the initial stages of incubation and rearing here, and then we'll go out to do a transport.
Great.
Good. I'll take you down to the end here and I'll show you some steelhead we have in incubation, and I'll show you the design of the heath tray. These are steelhead eggs. Eyed stage in development with some initial hatching ongoing. As you can see on the close-up there, you can just see some initial hatching ongoing with the first fish coming out below. You can see here in the egg, inside the egg, that the larva, it's called the eyed stage, and that's the larva developing inside, and there was actually its eyes.
Where'd you get these eggs?
These eggs are from Quatchy steelhead. In this tray here, there's probably about 4,600 eggs. Okay, as we come out of incubation now, what we'll do is we'll go over to the initial ponding area. It's called the Capilano troughs. They're relatively standard for initiating fish to food, and this is the next stage that would come from our incubation swim up. These fish are in a normal day-to-day feeding routine. These are coho fry. They're about 1 gram, and we'll be raising these for a year until next May for release. At the size of about 20 grams.
How long does it take to get from the egg to this size?
These coho would have been spawned in October.
And what's the next stage after this?
Actually, I have some really nice steelhead smolts that we'll be releasing next week that I can show to you.
Oh, great.
Great. These are Kluxui steelhead. They're slated for release next week. They're about 45 grams. We've already held them for the 1 year period. There's about 4,500 fish in here, and
4,500?
Yeah, and you guys can go with the release.
I was very lucky that the day I was there, they were actually going to release some of the trout into one of the neighborhood rivers. The fish were being held in pens. I tried to actually lift some of the fish, and it was very heavy. They were put into buckets, weighed, given some oxygen, and then transferred to a special truck that would take them to a river where they were going to be released. Once at the river, they connected a hose to the truck, and the fish were released through the hose. Fishing was and is a very important part of life here. Replacing the stocks that have been depleted over the years has become a priority for the area. I was told there's a famous woodcarver at Fort Rupert, which is a native reservation. Hi, Calvin.
Hi, I'm Lily.
His name was Calvin Hunt, and he is actually well renowned for carving totem poles. You're well known for your art in this area.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about this?
This is an old pole that was carved in 1965, and what we've done is we refurbished it.
Can you tell me what these animals on the pole represent?
There's a misunderstanding that a totem pole has a story. There are some poles, very few, that tell a story or that are carved, for a legend or something. But most totem poles, you read them from the top, and usually on a pole there'll be a raven or an eagle or a thunderbird, which is a mythological being. Those would represent the families, their main crest on the top of the pole, and then their secondary figures would come and like the whale or a wild woman or a bear would usually be on the bottom of a pole.
What's the original origin of the totem pole?
There were 6 types of totem pole. There's the inside house post, which would represent the crest of the family. There would be a pole outside that represents the history, the lineage of the family. Mm-hmm. You'd have a grave figure, which would actually just be one figure. It could be a male or female to represent that person that has passed on. And there's actually another mortuary pole which would have could have 2 or 3 different figures on it. But when you stand a totem pole like that up in a grave what happens is you put those crests away. They no longer can be used, when they stand it up.
Really? Now, if you only had one figure at the top, was that the origin of the tribe, or I mean, what would that represent? That figure on the top.
Well, the family share. Each family, like our main crest of our family, is an eagle.
Right.
Actually, from this village, and through our great 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 grandmother, Mary Ebbets, when she married into the hunt, she brought the raven.
One of Calvin's relatives, Mervyn, was working on a mask. Look at this magnificent piece of art. What are you working on?
I'm just finishing up a salmon transformation mask that I'm working on.
Can you explain exactly what it is?
What I wanted to show was a female sea-run coho on the outside, and so it transforms, it comes apart and reveals a spawning male that would be close to the system it's going to, or perhaps in the system, and then it opens again and shows a young infantile human face on the inside. So I'll just show you how it works.
Great.
I've got the, it shows that spawning male, and then the spawning male opens again.
Magnificent. It's a mask that's used in a dance, a special dance.
More like a sun.
And only certain people have a right, his family has a right to do that dance. After we had lunch today, a group of people started singing, and they, in fact, were thanking the host for the meal. And when they started singing, their faces lit up, and they truly seemed very happy. It was really a touching moment. I spoke with a village elder named Sarah about life on the reservation. So you grew up on this reservation?
Yes.
What was it like?
It was all right, but I didn't always live here. I went to school in Landry Bay, and off and on to day school here in Landry Bay, and that's the only education that I got.
Was that the residential school? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. On Alert Bay?
Yes, San Michael, yeah.
Uh-huh. And was that a good experience?
Oh, yeah. It was still good. It wasn't bad right away. It was good to begin with. I guess something started happening there in the school, but I didn't know because I didn't see that when I was there. But anyway, school was good for me. If it hadn't been for the school, I wouldn't even be here talking to you.
Why is that?
There are many First Nation people that never went to school, and they're scared to talk English because they're afraid of mistakes. But I have learned a lot through the years. I have changed. I was scared, of many things, I guess I was scared. But I've changed since I got this old. The older, I guess we're more positive about things, eh?
Yeah.
And when I was just more or less, I was beaten about and pushed about, and that was good for me, because it sort of built me up, eh? It built me up. And it's a good thing that people went to school so they can understand something about what's going on today. We learned in school the white way. The white way is good. But there are some things we learned that wasn't good.
Like what?
The drinking. I never heard of anyone stealing.
Yeah.
I never heard that word stealing. We've lost quite a bit of what you would call virtue. We've lost.
You've lost virtue.
Yeah, we have to fight hard. in order to keep it. There was nothing.
Sarah told me it was a pleasure to meet me because I was from a different culture, but really it was a pleasure for me to meet her. The next day on my trip to North Vancouver Island, I visited Alert Bay. Alert Bay has a very large and beautifully decorated big house. I was very fortunate to be invited to a potlatch. It was being held by a woman in memory of her deceased husband. This was a great honor for me, as potlatches are private occasions, and the family had extended a special invitation to me. The potlatch started with a ceremony, and then was followed by dancing, and this lasted all day. Every day of my visit here, I've seen float planes land and take off, and I really thought it would be a great opportunity for me to take a ride on one of them as well. I took a ride on a 1952 restored Beaver with a pilot named Corey.
Hey, Corey.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Ready for another burn?
Absolutely.
The views from the air are actually quite spectacular. I saw lush forests, islands everywhere, and an occasional fish farm and village. The vast space, the amount of space here is incredible. I live in a city, and seeing so much open space is unusual for me.
I think I inherited my adventurous spirit from my mother, who used to take us on trips when we were small. I'm thankful my mother passed those values on to me, just as the people on this trip have tried to teach me. British Columbia was an adventure, one that will be hard to forget.